Good morning, boys and girls. I hope that you're having a wonderful day so far. Today is Tuesday. It is day 7 of packet number 5. So that's what we will be working with today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The first thing we see when we look at day 7 of packet number 5 is a phonological awareness activity. It says, say the sounds below, one set at a time. Then ask the student to blend the sounds together to say the word. So the adult or other person that is doing this activity with you will say the sounds in a word, and your job is to blend them together. So for the first one, the person that's doing this with you would go k, sh, and you would say crash. You put all those sounds together. Then they'll do the next one. So that's not any writing. You shouldn't be writing anything down for this. It's all out loud. You're blending the sounds together with your mouth. Next, it says we have a reading activity. It says, read who has these spots. So says, discuss the book with a family member, identify any text features in the article, such as pictures, headings, charts, and captions. Ask and answer who, what, when, why, and how questions about what you read. So this can also be done out loud or on paper. You can write your answers or talk about them with a family member. So we're going to be looking for, before we start reading it, we're going to be keeping an eye out for text features. So remember, those are pictures, headings, charts, and captions. Headings tell us what we are about to read about. Captions give us more information about a picture. It's a little description of the picture underneath it. And we know what pictures are. Charts show information in an easy way so that we can see information or data in a very easy way. And yep, we already talked about captions. So we're going to keep an eye out for those things in this text. So it says, who has these spots? So I'm going to find that. And then we will read it. And then you can practice reading it by yourself. Okay. Who has these spots? What kind of animal has these spots? A cheetah has these black spots. What kind of animal has these spots? A fawn has these white spots. What kind of animal has these spots? A bug has these tiny spots. What kind of animal has no spots? A lemur has no spots. So that is the text that we had to read. What has these spots? So let's go back to the page. So your job now is to talk about the book with a family member and discuss any text features that you saw. For writing, after discussing the book, it's actually called What Has These Spots? Collaborate with a family member to come up with a list of other animals that have spots. So you're going to work with another family member to pick one. So you're going to make a list of animals with spots. Try and come up with ones that were not in the story. So you're going to make a list of animals with spots. Then it says, pick one animal from your list. Talk with your family member about how you could describe that animal. So it should be one of the animals that has spots. You're going to pick one of them, and you're going to talk with a family member about how you could describe that animal. So remember, when you're describing something, you can talk about its size, its shape, its color, anything about it. Then it says, write to describe your animal. So then after talking about how you could describe your animal with a family member, you're going to write it down. Make sure you use full and complete sentences. It says, reread writing and edit for capitalization, spelling, and punctuation. So remember, at the beginning of a sentence, we should always have a capital letter. Our sentences should always end with a period. And when we're trying to spell things, we're stretching out those words and listening for the sounds before we write. So after you have written how you would describe your animal, you need to reread what you wrote to make sure that it makes sense. Read your writing to someone in your family and see if they can figure out what kind of animal you described in your writing. So don't write the name of the animal in your writing, just describe it. This animal is, things like that. And then see if a family member can guess what the animal is based on your descriptions that you wrote. So you are writing to describe the animal without saying what it is, so that when you read it to a family member, they can guess what kind of animal it is. Okay, so that is our reading activity. That is our reading section, reading and writing for today. We're going to go now on to math. So it says have your daily calendar talk. We know that's at the end of the packet. You should be working on this every day just to get extra practice working with a calendar. We should have this filled in for the month of May. You should be practicing saying your months of the year, days of the week, telling us what yesterday was, what today is, and what tomorrow will be, and try and just answer different questions. So if today is the 19th, what will it be on Friday? Try and figure that out. Remember, when we're saying the date, that gives us the number. The day of the week is just the name of that day. So the date gives us the number. Today is May 19th, 2020. That is the date. The day is today is Tuesday. So after you have done your daily calendar talk, you are going to find a math buddy to work on the following with. So find someone to work with while you do these math activities. It says, what are all the ways to show each number between 1 and 5 with one hand? So just practice holding up the numbers between 1 and 5 on one hand. What are all the ways to show each number between 1 and 10 with both hands? So hold up both hands and try and show all of the numbers between 1 and 10. Which number has the most possible ways of showing it? Which one has the least? How many ways can you count from 1 to 5 on one hand? How many ways can you count from 1 to 10 on both hands? Did you notice any interesting patterns? How can you be sure you have accounted for every possible way? Can you convince a skeptic? So that's, can you convince someone who maybe doesn't know if you're correct? So these are just, you're not necessarily writing anything down. This is just to help you with basically fact fluency and being able to show different numbers quickly. So you're going to be doing this with a math buddy, someone at the house or where you're staying, and you're going to be going through all of those. And like I said, you're not necessarily writing anything down. You're just practicing showing those numbers quickly to a partner. Okay, so that's what you're doing for math today. We're now switching to content. For content, it says people are producers and consumers. Think about if someone can be a producer and a consumer. Have them explain their answer to you. So I guess have a partner explain to you how someone can be a producer and a consumer. And then it says to read the book Workers. So we're going to look at the book Workers. And after we read it together, you read it to yourself. Workers. There are many kinds of workers. Workers do many kinds of work. This farmer is a worker. He farms wheat for bread. This trucker is a worker. She trucks wheat to the mill. This miller is a worker. She grinds wheat into flour. This baker is a worker. He uses flour to bake bread. This grocer is a worker. He sells bread to the dad. This dad is a worker. He makes dinner for his family. What kinds of workers do you know? What kinds of work do they do? So after reading this story, answer this question. What is another word that you could call the workers in this story? I'm going to give you a hint. Are they producers or consumers? What is another word that you could call the workers in this story? All of the people are offering something. They're offering a service. So think about whether that's a producer or a consumer. After you've read the book Workers and you've answered that last question, it says, share if you think workers are producers, consumers, or both, and explain your reason. The workers are both producers and consumers. They are producing goods and services. They are consumers because they use different goods to help them produce goods and services. So it gives you an example too. It says, the trucker is producing a service moving the wheat from the farm to the mill. He is a consumer because he uses a truck to move it. So he's a consumer because he uses a truck to move the wheat, but he's a producer because the service he's offering is the actual act of moving the wheat from the farm to the mill. Think through other examples from the story. Has your thinking changed from when you first were asked if a person can be a producer and a consumer? Explain why it did or didn't change. Think about how you are a producer and a consumer. Remember, a producer is the person who is doing or offering an act. They are doing something. And a consumer is the person who is using something. The producer is the one offering it. The consumer is the one taking it. So think about how you are a producer and a consumer. Use the example below to set up your paper. Draw yourself as a producer on one side and a consumer on the other. Under the picture, write a sentence for each side explaining how you are a producer and a consumer. So what is shown in your packet is if you have a regular piece of blank white paper, what you can do is you can draw a line right down the middle or fold it in half and then trace the line. And on one side, it says me as a producer. Me as a producer. You're going to draw a picture of yourself being a producer. Think about something that think about a way that you are a producer and draw a picture of you doing that thing here. Then underneath, you're going to fill in this sentence. I am a producer when. So, me as a producer up at the top, a picture of you being a producer, and then you're going to fill in this sentence. I am a producer when, fill in whatever you're doing to be a producer. On the other side, me as a consumer. You're going to draw a picture of yourself being a consumer. And then you're going to fill in this sentence. I am a consumer when. So remember, a producer is someone who is doing or offering a service. A consumer is someone who is using or taking a service or paying for. You're the one using it. So, me as a producer, draw a picture of you being a producer and finish the sentence, I am a producer when. Me as a consumer, draw a picture of yourself being a consumer and finish the sentence, I am a consumer when. So after you finish that activity, that is the last thing that you need to do for today's day in the packet. If you have any questions, please, like always, feel free to ask and email. I'll be sending more feedback today on last week's work. I should finish that up today. I'm looking forward to our Zoom at 5:30 today. If you're able to make it, we would love to see you. And they will be announcing the winner of the KFC Family Meal drawing tomorrow. So that will be tomorrow, so keep an eye out. I know they posted on the Dutch Row Facebook page, but if someone in our class wins, I'm pretty sure Mr. Humble reaches out to give you information, but I will also, just to make sure you're aware that you won. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you on our Zoom later on at 5:30. Bye.